It's the same thing over and over again. Point your finger up, point your finger down, and then it tells you where to put your finger. So that is another one that they need to listen to. The next one that's a little more advanced for the toddlers is the Hokey Pokey. The one that we play is a Sesame Street one. The second one is called Walking, Walking. Now it goes walking, 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 hop, 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 running, 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 now you stop, now you stop. A big gross motor song that we like to do outside, especially because the song tells you to run. But again, it tells you to walk, to hop, to run, but then you need to listen when it says, now you stop. And then the last one is If Your Name, it's called If Your Name Is. But for example, my name is Alexis, so if we were singing it, it would go, if your name is Alexis, jump up and down, jump up and down, jump up and down. If your name is Alexis, jump up and down and sit back down. So we can do this during circle time. You go around, you have all the kids sit in a circle, and you go around and say each of your kids' names, and they need to listen to their name. And when it gets to them, it's their turn to jump up and down. But when you're told to sit back down, they need to sit back down. So this is another fun one. So that's for language. For gross motor, the first day I have ball kick and toss, and this is just taking soft balls outside or soccer balls for the older ones. But practicing the physical coordination of being able to have the ball on the ground and having the kid trying to kick it with the swinging of the leg. The second one I have is balance beams, and there's a lot of, my center has the small, they're plastic, but they're very, very low to the floor. However, it gives them enough off the floor that they need to use their balance. But basically it's just your standard balance beam. They walk across it, they see if they have the balance, the foot-eye coordination to make sure they don't fall off. So this is a fun one. And for Thursday, I have a gross motor game cube, and these you can find online and print them out and cut and glue them together. But basically, it's like your standard dice, and each dice has a gross motor activity. You would roll the dice, and if it landed on jump, you would have your friend jump up and down, or demonstrate what jumping is. Just anything that has to do with using their whole bodies, using their arms, using their legs. But this is always a fun one because you're not telling them what to do. The dice is really like telling them what to do. You also want to make sure that the dice not only has the word on it, but also has a picture demonstrating what the action is. So of course, like at this age, they're not reading, so that they can understand the concept of what is being asked of them through the look of pictures. And then my last one is obstacle course, and this one you can set up in your classroom depending on the materials that you have. You can also bring it outside, but this you can incorporate the balance beam back into it. You can have hula hoops on the floor. You can have the tunnels that they can crawl through. Use the gross motor to jump in hula hoops. You can have them do the line jump again. They can crawl through the tunnel, use their balance on the balance beam. You can even have them, you can set up a ball at the end and have them kick it to put that gross motor element back into it. I put this on Friday because again, you can incorporate all the things that you did at the beginning of the week into the end of it. Next, for the fine motor for this activity, we have, if you have animals in your classroom, like the little small figurines, you can do this on a toddler table. You can do this on a high chair with the tray. You can do this on the floor, really. You could do it on a counter, like you honestly can do it wherever you have a flat surface. But what you would want to do is take tape. I have clear tape right now, but maybe not Scotch tape, painter's tape. You would tape the animal down to the surface, and then your toddler would go over and they would have to rescue the animal from the tape, but they would use their fine motor skills to try to take the tape and peel it off of the surface so that it's not taped on the animal anymore. So they basically would use their fine motor to be able to grab the tape, peel it off. You can also do this the other way around, and when they're done, you can have them use their fine motor skills to retape the animal to the surface. Next, I have a pom-pom tube drop, and for this, you want to take, again, toilet paper rolls or paper towel rolls, and this you would want to do attached to like a wall. I did this on an easel for one of my classes. Pom-poms. But this is always a fun activity for them to use fine motor. So I have that for an activity. Next I have kinetic sands, and this can be a little bit more different than just Play-Doh, but that's a different sensory activity. Next, again, you would use pom-poms and tweezers, and then you can put these in sensory buckets. In this fine motor activity, you would have the sensory bin full of pom-poms, and then they would take the tweezer, and they would try to pick up the pom-pom and like transfer it to either be another bucket or just practicing the skill of using the tweezer and picking it up. And then next I have pasta stringing, and this is just using penne. Then you take a shoelace or a string, and they need to have the fine motor of holding the string and stringing it through the pasta. I put this in my infant 12 to 24 months because I use this as an activity in one of my classrooms where I had a little bit over 1-year-olds, and they were able to do it surprisingly. This can also be fun because if you tie it at the end, it can be a necklace of pasta. And then as you get older, as the kids get older, you can give them thicker beads. The bead is of course smaller than the pasta, so this is also more difficult for their fine motor, but if you wanted to differentiate it for older toddlers, you could incorporate beads as well. Lastly, I have character education books, and here I only have 4, but as you can see, these are loved in my classroom because some of them are torn, but these are character education books because, as you can see, the first one is called Hands Are Not for Hitting. The second one's called Feet Are Not for Kicking. The third one is called Germs Are Not for Sharing, which is appropriate for right now and COVID. And then this one is Words Are Not for Hurting, and these are only the ones I had. So a 5th one I found online, which I thought was appropriate for this age bracket, is called Voices Are Not for Yelling. So hands are not for hitting, like in it, like it says, hands are not for hitting, what are hands for? And this one says saying hello. So using your hands to say hello. Using your hands to play. For building. Hands are not for hitting, what are hands for? Hands are for eating and drinking. So like telling them that you can't hit your friends, like hands are not for hitting. These ones are feet. So same concepts, but not for kicking. This one is like, how do you use your words? You say your name and ask for help. You tell a story or you sing a song. Words are not for hurting. What do hurtful words do? They hurt our ears and they hurt our feelings. So it goes over the concept of you don't want to hurt your friends' feelings. You want to think before you speak, and you want to keep hurtful words to yourself. It's just about being good friends, and of course, like you want to encourage them that they can't use their hands for hitting. You can't use your feet for kicking. Again, you want to incorporate at this age because toddlers at this age love to throw things. They don't know how to use their words, so if they get angry, they might try to hit you. They might try to kick you. They might try to bite you. But as a teacher, you want to make sure that you can incorporate these books, like they can sit down and listen, but it's also teaching them to not hit their friends, to not kick their friends, and things like that. Last but certainly not least is Toddlers in Two's lesson plan. And for this one, since there was more room to make it a theme across the whole lesson plan, here's my big shoe box because I have a lot more materials in this. I did a lesson plan that followed the theme of dinosaurs. The first one is literacy and language, and some of these books I did have to find online. All have to do with dinosaurs. Your characters in it are dinosaurs, your storylines have to do with dinosaurs. So the first one is called The Big Book of Dinosaurs. The second one is called How Did Dinosaurs Say Goodnight by Jake Yolen. And Wednesday I have Dinosaur Dreams, and this is a book that I had. It's by Cherry Fowler. So we have this book of Dinosaur Dreams. The next one is a touch and feel dinosaur book, and so I wanted to incorporate this one because it's a lot of sensory. It has a lot of sensory things that the kids can not only read, but it has them use their touch senses. And the last one is Dinosaur Roar, which is this one. For the music and movement section, is again all songs that have to do with dinosaurs. The first one is personally my favorite and I sing it all the time, but it's called We Are the Dinosaurs by Lori Berkner and the Lori Beckner Band. There's a dinosaur song by Blippi. I have 10 Little Dinosaurs by Kiz Katzel. And then there's one called The Prehistoric Animal Brigade. The Prehistoric Animal Brigade. And then the next Friday is, you can sing it as a song, but it's more of a poem. But it's called Dinosaur Dinosaur, and I found this one online. Moving on to creative experiments. The first one I have is dinosaur stained glass art. This one has to do with contact paper. The contact paper is sticky